Hello, friends, and welcome to the latest installment of my No Hope S Rank walkthrough series for Resident Evil 6. The goal is to achieve the game's highest ranking on the game's highest difficulty. This time, we're going to be playing as Jake, who is a pretty unique character within the Resident Evil franchise. His campaign is pretty different from the others in a lot of ways, most notably the fact that he has a robust and honestly pretty fun melee combat system attached to him. When you've got hand-to-hand mode equipped, you can do a lot of pretty cool combos, including some that can help you deal with multiple enemies at once, and some that don't use any of your stamina bar at all, which is a pretty big deal. Believe it or not, it also makes you pretty lethal from long range, which we won't really see in this first chapter, but we'll definitely see in the next chapter. The first part of chapter 1 involves running past a bunch of Joavo and trying to avoid rocket blasts from the helicopter. Unfortunately, there is no surefire way to avoid damage from the copter, so I suggest just sprinting your way through the section and tanking any minor damage you may receive. If you want, you could just restart the chapter and do this section again until you completely avoid taking damage if you're really trying to conserve your health.
Man, look at this circus. You got any popcorn?
Roger!
Looks like they're expecting us. We're gonna have to shoot our way out.
This ledge section can actually be done entirely with stealth if you play your cards right. Just follow my lead here and you can avoid having to engage with any Joavo at all.
What are you waiting for?
Do I look like a circus acrobat to you? I'll find another way, just don't wander off too far.
Don't worry. I ain't running until I get my money. This whole place is falling apart. As he does it.
Roger. Give me a hand.
This is starting to feel like work.
Looks like the BSAA have got their work cut out for them.
You don't know the half of it. Last I checked, my employers had a tank parked on the other side of the river. The only way the BSAA are leaving that bridge again are in body bags.
No, you're wrong. They're more resilient than you can imagine.
Here, you're gonna have 2 Jawavo shooting at you from cover and 1 coming up and trying to melee you. Let the melee enemy come to you, and Sherry should actually be able to take it out herself. You'll then want to take out at least 1 Jawavo with the handgun from long range before moving forward. Here you'll notice the first instance of me using Jake's hand-to-hand mode. You'll notice that this 3-hit combo I do here doesn't actually consume any stamina, which makes it an extremely viable short-range option in many situations. All you do is aim with L1 and tap R2 3 times in quick succession. There are other more powerful combos in Jake's arsenal that do consume stamina, but those are better to use when you're dealing with many enemies at once, as Jake will automatically switch between enemies between each hit. For a one-on-one encounter, though, this simple 3-hit combo is a great option.
What the hell? Not one of those roided out freaks, you morons! What do you think? Fight or flight?
There's too many of them. I'm gonna go with flight.
Son of a bitch, he's strong! Here goes nothing! There's always something with women! What the hell is that thing?
He's tracking us. Well, technically you. Look, we can get out there.
This place looks like it's gonna collapse too. Somebody ought to call the building inspector.
Yeah. Boy, it's even colder in here than it was outside.
We're about to have our first serious encounter with Ustinik, but first we've got some business to attend to in this room before we trigger his appearance. As soon as the 3 Juavo drop down in front of you, shoot the barrel to blow them up, then move to the left and catch a 4th Juavo descending from the rope. We're not going to bother killing every enemy in this room, but thinning the herd a little bit will make dealing with Ustinik significantly easier. You'll also want to move up the stairs and grab the Elephant Killer, which is the most powerful weapon you will get in Jake's campaign. This weapon is great for taking down the game's more powerful enemies, as well as quickly disposing of less powerful enemies when time is a factor. And now we start our first fight against Ustinik. The trick to this encounter is to use the explosive barrels in the room to your advantage. You'll want to lure him from barrel to barrel and blow them up whenever he gets close. If you do this, you won't actually have to shoot Ustinik directly. Any route will do, but the one you see here is the easiest and most consistent one that I found. The hardest part of this fight isn't actually Ustinik himself, but dealing with the Juavo that will harass you throughout the fight, as you're about to see. Shoot them when you need to, so long as you're constantly keeping an eye on Ustinik's movements, because if he charges into you or grabs you with his claw, it's pretty much over. While we've got a moment here, I want to give some general thoughts about Jake's campaign, because it's worth talking about its various strengths and weaknesses. It's a really strange campaign because it's the one where Capcom clearly took the most chances, some of which really worked well and some of which really did not. Jake's melee combat focus was a really smart decision. It was a great addition to the game that really added some variety to the combat, and it helps Jake feel like a unique character distinct from all the others. It's really fun to beat enemies to death once you really know what you're doing with his combat system. Unfortunately, Jake's campaign has arguably the lowest lows of any of the 4 characters in RE6. The snow section in Chapter 2 is completely abysmal, and really all of the vehicle sections just flat out suck. The campaign has a lot of one-off gimmicks, like the stealth sections with the Watcher bats that work well but are so brief that they barely leave an impression on you. Then there's the fact that a lot of Jake's campaign has you repeating sections that you've most likely already done with Leon and Chris, like the giant BOW section coming up here. I get that on some level it's kind of cool to experience parts of the game with different characters, but when you're literally doing the exact same sections in the exact same ways that you've already done before, it makes it feel like Capcom is just reusing assets and situations to pad the campaign's length. It's really noticeable because Jake's story is considerably shorter than Leon or Chris's, almost half as long, as a matter of fact. It's a shame because some of the original locations and set pieces in this campaign are some of the best in the game, like the Chinese compound in Chapter 3, for instance. So, overall, despite some really enjoyable moments and mechanics, I feel pretty safe calling Jake's campaign a missed opportunity in a lot of ways.
Better off as a mercenary.
I'm not gonna let anything happen to you. The world needs it.
No, not me. Just my blood. Well, the world can have it. Someone ponies up the dough.
Alpha team, come in. This is Echo.
If you watched my Chris and Piers videos, you know exactly how we're going to deal with this BOW section. Instead of following the BSAA around as they place explosives on the turrets, we're going to distract the giant BOWs and take them out all on our own. Just shoot the exposed core on their backs, and follow up with an R2 and QTE after they get stunned. When the second BOW appears, lure it into the power line to get a free stun and an opportunity to pull its core out of its back. There's a high likelihood that Finn will place all of the explosives before you kill the second BOW, but so long as you keep it distracted, you've essentially done your job. Just be careful when shooting the BOW core though, because it is pretty easy to get erratic with your shots and miss it, which will put you in danger of not meeting the 70% accuracy requirement for S rank.
See if you can buy me some time! Just need a little more time! The charges are set! Everyone get back!
Good job, Alpha. One gun left. There's another giant BOW closing in on your location.
It's the one we lost at the Two of Hearts! Alpha, prepare to engage! Only one to go. Everyone into that underground passage.
silent. But you're not out of the woods yet. Echo Team can't land until you take care of that other VOW. We'll try to hit it from the air, see if it has any weaknesses. Targeting those exposed organs! Fire Will! Echo Team will be landing shortly.
What was that?
My gut's going with something bad. And here it comes.
This plane section is pretty straightforward. When Usenik peeks his head in, just unload on him as much as you can with the handgun until he pulls back. This can take a while on No Hope, but take note that there is handgun ammo on board the plane that you can use in case you're running short. Just damage Usenik enough and you'll be able to move on to the turret section.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to put you in danger.
Don't sweat it, kid! This is why I get paid the big bucks! Don't worry! He doesn't want you! Jump to the next chopper! No! What are you waiting for? This just gets better and better.
Immediately take control of a turret and begin shooting at the helicopter carrying Usenik. He'll start to fire at you, at which point you'll need to fall back into cover by holding X. When the coast is clear, continue shooting at Usenik's helicopter until it catches fire and moves back. At this point, some rockets will probably begin heading your way, which you can easily shoot before they reach you. Shoot the other two helicopters until they crash, all while keeping an eye on Usenik and taking cover if he starts shooting you with his arm gun. When they're both down, the section should end and you will be done with Chapter 1.
Stay put, you son of a bitch!
Take away his option. Shoot the choppers down.
That's your own helicopter, asshole!
Shoot the gas tank. Parachute.
Alright, and there you have it. S rank for the first chapter of Jake's campaign. You'll notice that this chapter is significantly shorter than the average chapter in Leon and Chris's campaign, which is going to be the case for pretty much the entirety of this playthrough. Like I said, Jake's campaign is fairly short, but it is pretty action-packed and contains a number of difficult sections, including quite a few in the next chapter. Well, that's going to be it for me, and I hope you will join me next time for the second chapter of Jake's campaign. See ya!